It is with great pleasure that I introduce to you our student speaker, Monica Clifford.
Welcome, faculty, staff, trustees, parents, and families. Welcome also to my fellow December graduates, including those in the Healthcare Administration program, with whom we are proud to share this celebration of achievement. In the fall of my sophomore year, I took the middle school practicum class through the education department. Once a week, I traveled to Jackson Middle School and observed 2 classes. Near the end of the semester, our big assignment was to teach a lesson to middle schoolers. So my subject of choice is history, so I decided to teach a class of 7th graders a lesson about how important history is. At the end of the lecture, I asked the students to write down some of the important historical events they'd seen in their lifetime. When I asked them to share, they offered a variety of suggestions: the September 11th attacks, the election of Barack Obama, the BP oil spill. Then the class clown raised his hand and said with absolutely feigned sincerity, "When Justin Bieber cut his hair?" And the class burst into laughter, as did I. If you're older than, say, 22, I can clue you in. He was referring to the time when Justin Bieber shed his signature long and shaggy hairstyle, very boyish, in favor of a more grown-up and clean-cut look. Now, most of us would not consider this a significant historical event, and that's why we laugh. But I haven't forgotten this story, and this is why. Who decides what is history and what is history? In official italics. The distinction is slight but profound. In a larger discourse, who determines what is worth remembering and what we can afford to forget? As a history major, this is an issue with which I struggle in a big way. Why do we remember, for example, so much about Rosa Parks when Claudette Colvin refused to give up her seat 9 months earlier? Well, the answer is easy, because what followed Rosa Parks' courageous act was the Montgomery bus boycott, an extremely significant movement that resulted in a Supreme Court ruling determining segregation on buses to be unconstitutional. But Claudette Colvin was just as brave and just as angry at the injustice she faced. Rosa Parks simply managed to be defiant at the exact right point in history. I think both women ought to be celebrated and praised, but I think this example illustrates something important for all of us here today. We have spent years on this campus. We have taken dozens of classes, attended hundreds of parties, met tons and tons of people. We've pulled countless all-nighters, written thousands of pages of essays, and eaten so many breakfast tacos. But what will we remember? Of all the days, of all the classes, of all the people, what will linger in our minds as the most significant, the most life-changing, the best moments of these, the so-called best years of our lives? See, personal history is a lot like history of everything else. It's not as though we remember every single paper, every single taco. We remember the ones that made us feel something. The moments where we were shocked, made uncomfortable, or were proven wrong. The times we learned something extraordinary or saw something truly beautiful. These were the times when our lives changed. The course of our history was altered. Some of the most significant moments of my time here at Trinity were unexpected. I took my first-year seminar with Dr. Aaron Delwich and learned about secret histories of the 20th century told mostly through comic books. And I became completely enraptured with the comics medium as a beautiful, inventive way to tell a story. Because of this class, I added a second major, communication, and also became an avid comic book collector. I auditioned for one of Trinity's 3 television shows on a whim within the first few frantic weeks of freshman year. And today I graduate as the executive producer of that same show, Studio 21, shameless plug. Teaching sounded interesting to me as a freshman, so I took a class on urban education, policy, and practice with the lovely Dr. Jeffrey Nordine, and now I want to devote my life to teaching students in an urban setting. I responded over email to a random classmate I'd never met who asked for help, and now he's my best friend and my boyfriend. So my time at Trinity has been filled with these moments that seemed so insignificant at their inception and had a profound effect on where I am today, on the story I have had so far. Fellow graduates, think about the teachers and classes and people and experiences that have shaped you. Here at Trinity, we have discovered so many things. We have grown immeasurably, and we have become simultaneously more convinced of ourselves and something so new. Trinity's new marketing plan includes the 3 words discover, grow, and become. I like these words a lot. To me, they describe the basic process of history. An event occurs, it impacts other things, and eventually we reach definite and new. I agree with them too in the context of college. We entered Trinity hoping to discover new things, to grow because of these things, and by the time we graduate, to become something. At that point, we had a history already. We all came from such different places, but we were eager and ready to observe all sorts of new things. We were, in a word, impressionable. In terms of discovery, we didn't always have a choice what we discovered. So some of us discovered we really did want to be pre-med or engineers. But most of us discovered we did not want to be pre-med or engineers. Many of us discovered that alcohol is lots of fun, but many of us also discovered that alcohol isn't quite so fun. We discovered different fields, different viewpoints, different cultures, and different ways of seeing the world. We immersed ourselves in this pattern of discovery. Really, as a freshman, we wanted to discover everything we could. It was my freshman year, after watching the greatest TV show of all time, which, in case you were wondering, is The Wire, that I proudly declared to myself, if ignorance is bliss, I'd rather be sad. I wanted to discover everything I could about this world. Then things get a little stranger when we get to the grow part. Even if we all shared a lot of the same experiences, we didn't grow in all the same ways. That professor who taught huge classes by Trinity's standards that some folks took for common curriculum, he helped shape your future career path. This, for me, was Dr. Alan Counselor, whose fervent belief in the power of history education continues to inspire me. That class where the kid sitting next to you was never paying attention, that class changed your life. This, for me, was my powerful Holocaust class with the sharp, provocative, and entirely warm Dr. Jason Johnson. That guest lecture where plenty of students had never heard of the speaker, it left you breathless because you got to hear someone you so respect speak to you and your peers. This, for me, was, among others, the hilarious writer Chuck Klosterman, the amazingly innovative comics writer and artist Linda Berry, and of course, Woodward and Bernstein. While this stark difference might be kind of sad, it just means that your story is different. It's yours. There's a unique beauty to your Trinity experience. No one has taken exactly the same classes as you have. No one has gone to exactly the same events or joined exactly the same clubs, although they've probably all ordered similar things from Taco Taco. But some of your history you have shaped. Some of it has been shaped by others. Your reactive emotions, your takeaway from all that has happened here, have shaped your history. And the resulting product, the become part, is entirely up to you. I really appreciate the ambiguity of the word become. It doesn't say become smarter or become an adult. It's just a verb with no adjective or noun to follow. It manages to feel strangely both complete and incomplete, which is how history should be. Though so much has happened, so much more is yet to happen. We have become scholars, artists, and scientists, but what's exciting is that there extends before us so much more to do and learn and experience, both in our fields of choice and outside of it. History can be a really difficult subject to study because of the wide range of experiences and views. There are certain events we all agree are significant, but why, and from whose perspective? The reason it is so frustrating and yet so fascinating to study is because it's about people. And people, as we all know, are pretty varied in their experiences, their beliefs, their determinations of what is important. This is a big reason why I love it, frankly. History is written by the victors, as we all know, but this doesn't mean that other stories aren't out there and worth listening to. This is why I like the idea of a personal history. Of all the moments of these last few years here at Trinity, it is up to you to determine what was forgettable and what was valuable. And perhaps those valuable moments include, for you, the time when Justin Bieber cut his hair. I mean, maybe you're a communication scholar who analyzed Twitter responses to his change in hairstyle. Maybe you learned how much celebrity worship is ingrained in our culture. Who's to say what you pick? It's your history and your story. And though it has undergone significant and positive changes over your time here at Trinity, it is by no means over. In fact, it is just beginning. And isn't that something gorgeous? Congratulations to my fellow graduates on an outstanding achievement. We've made it through. Let's today remember our own histories and yet embrace the future.